Broadcasting from the Merritt Hall Studios out of Carson City, Nevada. You're listening to Covering the Field with Big Richard Martin, Gator Gates, and Joe the Answer Ellison. So we still haven't gotten rid of that intro, guys? We still haven't made a new one yet? I mean, come on, what is this producer doing? I mean, welcome to the show, everybody. Here we go, another episode. And in studio today, we have Joe the Answer Ellison, Gator Gates. Unfortunately, Big Richard Martin is out on the road, so we're missing him this week, guys. And we hope him safe journey, safe trip, and we'll see you when you get back.
Yeah, get back soon, Big Rich.
But he's having a good time out there. Was he Colorado?
Oh, yeah. It's kind of great place to be out.
Kind of going everywhere, having a good time. I mean,
I heard it's pretty warm over there.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but he'll be back next week. I'm sure.
That's perfect. Great. So we'll have him back on. But before we get started, we'd like to give a special thank you to our this week's show sponsor. It is Shears and Gears. Now, ladies, gentlemen, you want a good haircut. You want something stylish. You want to have a good time. The owner's fantastic. The people that work there are great. You'll get a nice cut. You'll walk out feeling really good, and you'll want to come back. Shears and Gears. They're on Winnie Lane, 198 Winnie Lane in Carson City. Phone number is 775-301-6452. So shout out to them, and they're fantastic. And you guys check them out.
That would be the Winnie Lane Center, if I'm not mistaken.
That is the Winnie Lane Center, yeah.
Awesome.
And they have good reviews on Google, and personally, they are just a fantastic job. And so we want to give them a special thanks for sponsoring this week's show. Thank you, guys.
Shears and Gears.
Shears and Gears. Now, Joe, we have a certain number of weeks left for football, okay? But isn't it a very exciting baseball right now?
Well, yeah, I would say we're approaching halfway through
the All-Star break.
Yeah, the regular season. We usually go a little past halfway when the All-Star game comes around because of the playoffs. But it is time to talk a little about some Major League Baseball. And Gator, I guess we should ask, as we approach the All-Star game, who is hot right now?
The hottest team in Major League Baseball right now is Atlanta at 9-2 in their last 11.
All they do is hit home runs.
Yeah, just crazy. That team,
that's not bad.
Team.
If that's all they do, that's not bad.
No, that's a great team. But then I have 4 teams that are chasing them, Joe. Both all 4 of these teams are 8-3. San Francisco, Cincinnati, Philly, and Miami.
Now, this is based off the last 11 games.
Correct.
So we want you guys to know that. We're basing off the last 11, who's hot, who's not.
And this will be Thursday.
Yes.
The 29th.
Yep, Thursday the 29th.
As we do our show. So, those are teams that we should be betting on or should have been betting on.
We're watching very close.
What teams are cold? Who should we have been betting against recently?
Well, Joe, I hate to say it, but Oakland's still on that list at 2-9.
What a shocker.
Yeah. And I only have 3 teams. Colorado, Pittsburgh, and the Mets are 3-8.
Boy, what happened to Pittsburgh?
Well, Pittsburgh, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just early season.
Talk about
the first 2 months are so different than the other 4 months.
Now, Big Rich wanted to have this topic on, and honestly, without him, I'm going to suck at doing the topic, but I'm going to just use some points off of it. Basically, what's wrong with certain teams like the Mets, San Diego, huge payroll, yet San Diego lost today again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I was thinking about the Mets. I mean, they were booing the manager. And the manager, kind of got defensive and but
that's Buck Showalter.
Yeah, Buck Showalter, and
he's been a winner.
But I think the fans have every right. I mean, you're spending most. They are have the higher payroll than San Diego.
True, yeah, but San Diego's right there. So
yeah, exactly. That just shows you that the money. Even the Dodgers. I'm still guessing that they're going to get to 95 wins.
Well, back to what Big Rich, he wanted to bring up, basically, let's debate, like, what's wrong with these teams? I mean, how can they get it better? I mean, you spend a bunch of money, and yet, what are you doing? San Diego fans don't even show up for half the game.
So I guess as a bettor, what I'm trying to say is start looking at those that are 10, double digits. This is the time to get them because everything changes when the All-Star break comes. So those teams that are 10, 12 to 1 right now are going to be 4 or 5 to 1.
Now, you think that San Diego and the Mets are going to just bounce back second half? Because I'll tell you right now, I see San Diego not, but I do see the Mets squeaking into the playoffs.
Wow, that's pretty bold.
So you're right. Maybe you want to take a little bit of that action.
It happens every year. But
Yeah.
it does. It happens every. Not all 6 divisions are going to flip flop, but I would say at least 4, if not 5. Teams that are mediocre are going to be leading at the end, and teams that are leading at the end are going to be mediocre, just barely making the playoffs.
What about the Cubs?
Cardinals too streaky. No.
Cardinals, that's pretty shocking. Houston is not playing as well as they should be doing either.
No.
Maybe they can turn around, but still got a whole half a season to go.
St. Louis, we've been saying this all year, doesn't look like their record, and they should be better, but they're too far back, Joe. I don't see them pulling off a 23-game winning streak.
No, but they do play in a really bad division.
Sure.
They could possibly get to the top if the top teams falter a little bit, and they do get on, even like a 10-11 game winning streak can get them, at least you got to get to 500 first. No team has ever made the playoffs below 500.
Yeah,
so that's step one.
Yeah,
and
this
then
isn't the
we'll
NFL or NBA.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right.
All right, what else you got, Joe?
Well,
Baseball talk.
I was just going to say, there are so many ways to bet on a game now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, it used to be you just bet the side and the total, but you can bet the first 5 innings, which I like because you can just bet the starting pitchers. And then when the relievers come in and blow it, you've already won.
Correct.
So that's a good game.
Game's over for you. Good job. Hit the showers.
Yeah.
And if your starting pitcher didn't make it the first 5, I don't think you're going to win anyway.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And you can bet on the first inning.
Will there be a lot of pushes, though? Expect a lot of pushes when you're betting that way.
A push is not a loss.
No,
so
sure
it'd be okay with a push. You can bet the first inning. Will there be a run or not?
Mm-hmm.
The salami, add all the runs of the entire day. Mm-hmm. There's an over/under. Will there be a grand slam that day? Will there be a no-hitter that day?
Boy, it would have been nice if we would have took who got a perfect game yesterday.
We're gonna talk about
the Psycho with what's his name, the kid from Cincinnati.
We're gonna talk about that too. Will a certain player hit a home run? They list a bunch of players that particular day. Total runs, hits, and errors in each game.
And these are all called props.
Propositions. Yes.
Wow. Usually can't parlay them. A lot of places won't allow you.
I didn't see any possibility of parlaying any of these.
No, not up north.
Will the road or away team score more runs that day?
Will the hot dog win, or will it be the mustard? Or
now you're talking Vegas.
Yeah. So that's and the traditional, of course, the sides, totals, run lines, reverse run lines, alternate run lines. I mean, it's crazy all the options we have now. So it's pretty neat.
Well, especially on the phone, Joe, a lot of people bet those props. I mean, this is like the hottest thing going is those props.
Yeah. So some people just never notice them.
Right.
They just, if you look on the board, you won't see any of that.
Right. There's a lot of things on the phone app that you can get that you can't get from the writer.
That too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe some news from around the league. You were about to mention New York Yankee Domingo Germán pitched the 24th perfect game in Major League Baseball history.
That's amazing.
Last night, in fact, and that's the first since Felix Hernandez
10
in
years
2012.
Ooh,
in fact, that year, Philip Humber and Matt Cain also threw perfect games. There were 3 that year, which is hard to believe.
Well, that was a great game, and there was a couple spots there where he got bailed out, like I think the 3rd inning, and then that last line drive to seal it. Do you see him turn a little bit like, oh no?
Yeah.
Good play. Good job, Yankees. Well, you can't get a perfect game without having a team behind you.
You're right on
that. You're not going to strike everybody out. So, Germán, he's the first from the Dominican Republic to throw a perfect game. Apparently, he doesn't speak any English from the interviews after the game.
Right.
Just get your interpreter out there. Like
he did.
Like the interpreter goes to the mound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He gave up 10 runs his last start. That's a record for a guy first start before throwing a perfect game.
Isn't it like the last couple starts he's been pretty terrible?
I think he gave up like 7 or 8 the one before that too. Yeah. So in fact he was booed off the mound in New York the last game he pitched.
Oh, now they love him.
Now they love him.
He got a parade.
But he's also been booed for other things. He's been suspended for domestic violence and goop.
Goop.
So
Goop.
He's one of the goop
domestic
guys.
violence. Come on, man.
I guess
together.
the question is, should this actually count as a perfect game? Because he did do it against the Oakland A's. And that is not a real team.
Yeah, it's still a major league team.
I guess so.
And they still made it to the majors. They're still earning big bucks. It's not like you're playing a JV team out of some small high school in the middle of nowhere.
Well, it's fairly close. The A's are batting .217, which is the sixth worst record, sixth worst batting average since 1900.
Should get the Reno Aces out there.
They'll change when they get out of it.
Well, they're not out of there this year. So they might get no hit again this year. I could see that. But anyway, so yes, good for him. Some other stats, of course, Los Angeles Angel Shohei Ohtani just keeps on motoring along here. 2 more home runs. That's 28 now. Leads the league. Atlanta's Matt Olson, former Oakland A, of course, has 25. Ohtani went 3 for 3, but he also pitched. He gave up just 1 run with 10 strikeouts. His record is 7-3. His ERA 3.02.
So sink or swim. Does he get over 60 home runs for the season?
I'm gonna say sink, because 28. We're about 80 games now, so 57 or so would be pretty decent. But at this rate, that's where he's going to land.
Well, if he keeps playing the way he's playing and he keeps hitting like this, yes, I think that's a swim for me.
It'd be exciting to see.
Good question, though.
Aaron Judge
right on the cusp.
Aaron Judge had 62 last year, so that would be something.
Wasn't he hurt sometimes?
But what I want to talk about with the Angels, why can't they win a game?
Why can't they?
I mean, come on, mind-boggling.
Well, I feel really bad for Mike Trout and Ohtani, which Ohtani's going to be gone after this year. So, but Mike Trout's locked in, and dude's a good player. He works hard. He doesn't get into the whole interviews and all this.
But it's not like their scouting department's terrible, or I don't know. I just don't understand what the problem is.
That's another team.
They get that over that hump.
Put them with the Angels the Mets and
sure.
San Diego.
Trying to figure them out.
But no one's totally disappointed in that team because they weren't that good last year either, and basically the same roster. We can move on to Miami second baseman Luis Ariz. Continues his quest at 400. He's averaging 396 after 80 games. Only went 1 for 5 last night. Probably means he'll do well tonight.
I just don't see him getting 400. I think we talked about this in a couple shows ago. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a cool off period. Ohtani getting 60, yes. But him, no. I said that's hard.
That's tough. Yeah,
it's gonna be tough. I think there was 94, the strike shortened year, I guess, whatever. They did finish. Tony Gwynn was batting 394. When
Tony Gwynn can do that in 200 games.
But Luis Ariz is not Tony Gwynn. So I happen to agree with you on that. He's not going to get there. Cincinnati, we started to talk about him. The 21-year-older, Ellie De La Cruz, first player since the RBI became an official stat in 1920 to hit for the cycle, steal a base, and drive in 4 runs within the first 6 innings of a game.
Wow. That is amazing.
Good game. Hit the showers. You're done.
You earned your check.
Right. Miami starting pitcher Yuri Perez, current 21 inning scoreless streak. So he might be somebody you wager on right now. He's hot.
Good job.
Seattle starting pitcher George Kirby, he's pacing at 12 and a half strikeouts for every walk given up. So another guy.
That's my dude.
Another team to watch after the All-Star.
Yeah, I've been talking about him for a while now.
I think.
Both big rich.
Some Dodger news. Rookie pitcher Emmett Sheehan given up 3 hits in 12 innings, 1.5 ERA. Outfielder Mookie Betts, now 8th in history in leadoff home runs. And outfielder DH JD Martinez, the 156th player to hit 300 home runs. So there's her.
Applaud for all those people.
Dodger news for the day.
Thank you, Gator.
And we can thank, of course, Rockin' Ronnie McKinnon, our Dodger fan,
always
for those stats. And
go Giants, Ronnie.
St. Louis's Paul Goldschmidt, the first player in history to play a regular season game in 5 different countries now: U.S., Canada, Mexico, Australia, and England.
Well, let's back that up for a second, because Ronnie really does a good job.
He does.
I mean, getting all this information, stats, and
Yes.
Ronnie, we appreciate you and the time you spend throughout the show, week just to get all this. And also the Butcher, man, he's another one.
The
Just-
Butcher.
The
Yes.
Butcher. Just you guys are great for what you do and really providing us with this information.
The
Yeah,
Butcher
we thank you
Roberts.
so much, you guys.
Yep. By the way, 4 NBA and 15 NHL players have suited up in 5 different countries. So the first baseball one.
That's it.
So, yeah. So we can thank London. Attendance is up in the major leagues. They're averaged 35,000 the last 2 weekends.
Wow.
It's been 8 years since that's happened. So thank you, London, and the rules changes, I suppose, to the game. And no thank you to Oakland. And it's still averaging 35,000. That's
Per year.
fair. I think there was like 55,000 in London. So that was pretty good weekend there. Finally, Cleveland manager Terry Francona, he's out with health issues.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Speedy recovery.
Yes. So, yes, special thanks to our correspondent, Rockin Ronnie McKinnon, for those stats.
Man,
It's pretty awesome.
Can we talk about some hockey and the number 1 draft pick?
Well, we were going to get to that.
Connor.
We're getting to that. All right, a little prelude, guys.
Yeah.
Because that dude's a phenom. If you don't know who he is,
You're
check
going
out
to
the-
know. You're
he's
going
a
to get to know.
phenom at 14 already.
Well, we did cover the College World Series quite a bit last week. And last we checked, we had Florida in the finals.
Mhm.
LSU was going to play Wake Forest in that final game to see who would beat in the
Seems so long
finals.
ago.
It does it?
I know,
Yeah.
it's already over. And
Man, there was some epic games there, though. I mean,
Sure was. Great.
When LSU beat Wake Forest 2-0,
right.
walk-off home run by Tommy White in the 11th inning. That was an incredible game.
Worst game was a 24-4 beatdown.
We're good, yeah, mhm. But anyway, Wake Forest and LSU, they seem to be the 2 best teams in the country. Number 1 the entire season. And they actually sadly ended up on the same bracket. Otherwise, they could have been in the final.
Yeah.
But it did set up a Florida LSU Southeast Conference final. That game one, just as classic pretty much as that Wake Forest game, that
Mhm.
4-3 in 11
It's
innings.
good pitching in that first game.
Yeah.
Florida LSU.
Yeah, that Tommy White, he hit the tying home run again. So he's amazing.
He's going to the majors, right? Guys,
Yeah, for sure.
first
yes.
round easily.
Uh-huh.
You would
And,
think so.
Ty Floyd had 17 strikeouts in that game.
Whew.
That's in 8 innings. So that's definitely dealing right there. And great game saving catch by Josh Pearson. Pearson, I don't know if you saw that, because if that ball goes over his head,
Yeah.
They lose.
Yeah. That high one, that was awesome. Good job.
yes. And then Cade Beloso hit the home run to win. But then, of course, the next 2 games were
Uh,
blowout city. Florida 24-4 in
Just-
game 2.
so hard to watch. Just really, just please turn. I mean, at one point, LSU was just like, we're not using any more pictures.
No.
And we're trying to get through this thing, and everybody's just like, this is cringe. Except for Florida, of course, they're all
Yeah.
jumping up and down.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Except for the one guy that didn't get a home run that game.
they were laughing.
It was brutal, but it was just hard to watch as a fan, as a viewer, because it got so out of control and so fast. It was so lopsided, and like LSU had no energy, and the coach didn't even know what to do, and probably just gave up. And
Oh yeah,
no 10-run rule. That's not Little League. You got to play it out.
it's not softball either. Apparently.
Awful.
No, you're right.
23 unanswered runs by Florida. That was pretty ugly.
Ouch.
And that 24 runs was the most in a College World Series
Yeah.
game. So that's and the first Grand Slam in finals history also, which is hard to believe.
That is hard to believe.
You'd think they would have had another one.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
there's a lot of those teams that played in that. Yeah,
And of course, the deciding game, not quite as ugly, but ugly.
That's still
Well,
bad.
I think
LSU
it came down to
18.
one play, Joe.
Really?
Yeah, I was thinking about using it as my home story, but wasn't let's see, Florida up 2-0.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Go
Oh
ahead.
man, and then
They had the momentum.
yeah, they had the momentum.
The
and
guy's running to first base.
great.
And I don't know where he's supposed to run, but apparently he's not supposed to run on the line. He's supposed to run in the alley next to the line.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to explain to me, Joe. But I'm still not
yeah.
quite understanding this. But anyways, the ball went to first baseman. The first baseman had his glove out and just barely hit his glove. He didn't catch it.
Mhm.
And they called him out for what Joe was saying is that he was running in the baseline.
But I would consider on the line the baseline.
I do too.
Yeah,
So
but,
so
No, you can't run on a line that's there guiding you to where you're supposed to go.
how about this, Joe? How about if I ask these
next to the
our
line.
listeners to please send in why that happened. If you guys know the rule,
It's a crazy rule.
because that's a crazy rule. You guys can write in and
Yeah. I know
I
it's
have no clue.
and you can say, well, they beat them 18-4. It really wouldn't have made a difference. But at the time, it made a difference.
Because after that, they
Changed
couldn't
the
do
momentum.
anything. Florida couldn't do anything right in the whole game.
Yeah, it did upset them for
Yeah.
sure. So, and that's the largest clinching win in World Series history, also. So,
It's just sad that it ended that way. Or
Well,
we had a game that started.
The entire playoffs and everything were great.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like the finals, game one, awesome.
Awesome.
Then,
incredible.
wow.
And then 2 ugly games. It was, yeah.
Do you think they should do in the finals going forward, best out of 5?
Oh, wow. You know, just to
I'm
get
all
into
for
You
it.
keep the
I'm
format the way it is.
all for
Just
it.
keep the format the way it is.
Yeah.
But when you get to the finals, instead of best out of 3, just do it best out of 5.
I'm all for it, but that's me.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with it. But just to get them to do 2 out of 3, you know, it never even used to be
Be
like
that
that.
way.
It used to be just double elimination.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, you could actually lose a game and still win the College World Series. So,
Think
yeah.
about it, NCAA. Just think about it.
More money anyway.
Also, it's,
You can actually lose 2 games and win the
yeah, and
College
you can
World Series
still,
now.
bounce back. And
Right. You can lose one getting to the finals
Just
and lose
thought.
one in the finals and still win it.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
moving
team
on.
only won. Oh, yes. Oh, I want to congratulate Nevada head coach Jay Johnson, though. Ex-Nevada
Of
head
course.
coach. He's LSU coach. And,
nice job.
Yeah.
that was like a second year, and nobody had ever done that. Usually you build a program. He walked into a pretty good program. So good for him. Yeah, it's LSU's 7th championship. That's the second most behind a school I hate to mention, USC. Coach Rod Dedeaux won 12, I guess. So little ways to catch up to.
That's not easy.
No. So
But that was a different format back then also.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was a great tournament. Really great tournament and exciting, and just not quite as exciting as the women's softball, but still pretty awesome.
Fun to watch.
Yeah. So Gator, let's switch gears over to NASCAR. Contest that was unusual. It was raced on a Sunday night
Yeah.
with no Monday holiday.
It was on a different network, but we're not going to mention, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
different network.
It's very strange that they would do that. But what happened at the Ally 400 in Nashville?
Yeah, okay. Well, Chevy was out of minus 110, so we did hit that, Joe. My pick, Chase Elliott, though, he did finish 4th. Ross Chastain at 5.5 earned pole and did finish the race, got the checker flag. But he did lead 100 laps of those 300, out of the 300 laps. And Truex led 50 of those laps, and he only lost by 0.8 seconds, Joe.
Ooh.
Pretty close. Yeah, pretty good race.
But Truex, that was his 6th top 5 finish this year. And Denny Hamlin received 3rd. So, Joe, that put 2 of the Toyotas in the top 3.
Right.
Fords, though, they had a hard time Sunday, Joe. The top driver was Brad Keselowski, and he finished 11th. Ford was also the first car out with Ryan Blaney on lap 146.
Right. Yeah, he hit the inside wall there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got kind of set in there.
Now, Joe, this track, it opened up in 2001, and it's been known for having some boring races.
Yeah. Well, this was a good race.
Well, yeah, I thought that the 3 wide was excellent. Now, I don't know if it's because it was daytime racing that made it boring. The nighttime racing made it better. I don't know, but I thought it was more interesting than it has been since 2001.
Yeah, it opened in 2001, but the first NASCAR race was actually 2021. So
Yeah.
they're just getting to know the track right now, which is the home base for Trackhouse Racing, which is Ross Chastain's. So it's always good when the home team wins.
It is. It really is.
In NASCAR especially. So that's good. So next up Sunday is the Grant Park 220. It's a Chicago street course. Yes, a street course.
Yeah, and if you look at the layout, Joe, it kind of looks like a figure 8 race.
Oh, okay, awesome.
But instead of being an 8 white circle, it's more square.
Right. But they aren't going to run into each other
No.
like in a figure 8 race. That would be something else. But do you have any thoughts or predictions on that?
Okay, well, let's look at this. The Fords are 4-1. Elliott is the favorite at 6-1. I like Truex. He's at 7-1. And like I said, nobody knows what's going to happen here. Now,
Right.
If you're going to make a case on anybody that has experience and has the best chance of winning as far as that goes, I would have to go with Allmendinger. And I think that's probably why the Chevys are where they're at a -115. But I'm going to go against that.
Okay.
I'm going to take Toyota.
It's basically a road course, only a street course.
Yeah, it's a
You're
road course. They are different. NASCAR
Yeah.
considers them different.
I suppose they do.
Well, they consider you have oval, street, and road.
Right. Well, first of all, I can't ever remember there ever being a street course in NASCAR. And a friend of mine who I suggested we should have a street race, who's since passed away, he's probably turning over in his grave right now because he was totally against the idea of street courses. But anyway,
Well, Joe,
well, sink or swim.
well, I want to get a serious note first, Joe.
Okay,
Jimmy Johnson's
I was
wife.
going to get to that.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. I want to say first, sink or swim. Is this the only time NASCAR has ever used streets in a race?
I bet you they did it in Detroit.
I'm going to say sink.
I'm going to say sink.
You say they haven't.
No,
Swim, you
they
say
have. They have. They have.
Swim as you have and sink
Swim as you have.
No, wait.
Sink as you have.
I think they have in
They
Detroit.
They say they swim. Yeah, they did it
You say
before.
they have.
Yep.
And you say
They have.
they have.
Sink.
Okay.
Or
all
swim.
right. Okay.
Swim.
You guys are both right. The only time was 75 years ago when they raced on sand in the streets of
Miami.
Daytona Beach.
Miami. Or, yeah.
Yeah,
Detroit.
the locals use those roads. And
That's amazing.
They
I
raced
always
on-
thought it was always on the beach. That's why I didn't pick that.
yeah. So, but yes, we should report. Yes. You want to report on sad news of Jimmy Johnson,
Yeah, she has a
7-time champion.
Yeah, this is really sad, Joe. Jimmy Johnson's wife, parents, and nephew were found dead Monday. Yeah, in Oklahoma.
Hmm.
And I think they were thinking it was a suicide, Joe, last I saw, but that was a couple days ago when I saw it.
Yes. Well, Jimmy was scheduled to race, but he's not now. I guess his mother-in-law is where I saw it, shot and killed his father-in-law.
That's what I saw, Jim.
And nephew
That's what
before killing herself. That's
Yeah.
just
Wow.
unbelievable tragedy.
But our hearts go out to Jimmy Johnson and his family, of course.
Just take a moment of silence.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Gator, Mondays starts tennis's third major of the year,
Wimbledon.
Championships.
Yeah.
The All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club just outside of London.
Right.
Who do you like?
Well, Novak's the favorite,
Right.
of course. He's at a +110. I don't think that's too bad of a
That's
price
not
for him.
bad for him.
Swiatek, Joe,
He
favorite
does
at,
Swiatek.
yeah,
Mhm.
she's at a plus 350.
She has not won this tournament. She hasn't won any grass tournaments that I know of. She's playing in one right now,
And she's the favorite?
and she's the favorite.
Hmm.
Yeah. She's looking good, though, on this tournament.
Now, Coco Golf, she just got done beating Jessica
Pagula.
Pagula.
Yeah.
6-3,
American
6-3.
matchup there.
Now, what's funny about that?
They're
though-
in different tournaments, though.
Well, that is her doubles partner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I
That's
thought that was
good.
pretty neat.
I'm glad they're not playing against each other.
We don't know. We might.
But they just did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, Djokovic, he's won he's the 4-time defending champion. So, how are you going to go against that?
Yeah, it's kind of hard
He's
to.
my pick. And on the women's side, Elena Rybakina won last year, so she's the defending champ. So I'm going to pick somebody different. I don't know how you can go against Swiatek. It looks very chalky at the moment. I'd love to see Goff win it, but she doesn't beat Swiatek if they actually meet.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't want it to be so chalky either, but if you are looking at the chalk, I think 350 is pretty good for chalk.
And
Joe.
that's really good.
Yeah, so and even +110 is good. So
I haven't seen my Sabalenka play. She's not. I don't know what she's doing to warm up for this tournament. So,
very good question.
okay. I suppose we should review the NBA draft first. The worst kept secret category, right?
I forgot it even happened.
The French.
I was going to talk about the NHL draft. I was all excited about that for a
Well,
little.
that's next. The Frenchman Victor Wembanyama went first to San Antonio.
Which everybody knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a big name.
Congratulations to the guy who laid down $60,000 on DraftKings at odds of -20,000 on Wembanyama. He won $300.
Nice.
It was the easiest $300 you could ever win right there. It just took $60,000 to do it. So good for him.
Took him a while to get it, though, no?
I don't know, man. They just get his money and tack on $300 bills, and you got it.
Jesus.
That is pretty crazy. But yeah, the NHL draft and the other worst kept secret category, right?
Yeah, I agree.
The 17-year-old.
big, and maybe even bigger.
Well, the NBA draft is way bigger than NHL draft.
No, they're talking about the player. This Connor's going to be just as good.
Connor Bedard.
Go ahead, Joe. We're interrupted.
The 17-year-old Connor Bedard went to the Chicago Blackhawks. Any thoughts about the kid?
Yeah, he's going to be the next Sidney Crosby. He's going to be the next. I don't know if he'll make the Wayne Gretzky list, but he's going to be close.
Well, you know that true story that Gretzky called him up.
Mario Lemieux
called him up, and he had a conversation with the kid, and the kid was all excited. He thought it was a joke, like his friends playing a prank on him.
Yeah.
But he did play for Saskatchewan, right?
Mm-hmm.
14 years old.
Right?
Just destroying everybody between the legs and shots, precision shots.
He's
that good. Yeah, he's that good.
Yes, he deserves.
And he's on a team that can develop around him. Yeah, because Chicago's a huge fan base, and
but they've had some success too. It's not like going to Anaheim or someplace. This is they just won the Stanley Cup about 10 years ago.
Yeah, not too long ago.
17 years old in the NHL.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Well, ticket sales for Chicago just went up like 1,000%.
Oh yeah,
Connor Bedard. If you guys don't know him, check him out. Watch some highlights because he's a phenom.
Those ticket sales went up as soon as they were awarded the first round draft.
Well, how long does it take for him to hit the ice in Chicago? Would you say there, Gator?
A year.
So he won't be there this year.
At 17, his weight, he's only he's 5'10", 185 pounds. I mean,
yeah,
he's gonna get pushed around.
Yeah, a year at least.
But I want to know what you guys think about my Sharks getting William Smith, center, out of the USA,
the under 18 team.
Yep.
All right.
So
I'm not sure what exactly he comes from. The U.S. Hockey National Team Development Program. All right. So 127 points. That's 51 goals, 76 assists in 60 games. That's pretty efficient. It's 2 points a game.
Yeah, 6 foot, 180 pounds.
All right.
Gonna bulk up a little bit too.
Well,
yeah, good draft.
Yep. Too bad the Sharks couldn't pick first, but there is a lottery in there, and Chicago won it.
They probably would have just traded it anyway.
Oh no, not in this case. Maybe the second pick, but not the first pick. This guy was a surefire number one pick.
Between the Sharks and the A's, who's having a more terrible last few years, making the dumbest decisions ever?
A's.
Yeah, I would have to say the A's.
Wow. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm well. Truth hurts.
Yeah, for sure.
The only thing I'm upset about the Sharks is they keep saying they're not rebuilding. We'll start rebuilding.
Well,
yeah.
See what happens this year.
Yeah, it's time to rebuild for sure.
We got a top three number 3 pick in the nation, at scouting. So
yeah, we're not rebuilding, but we're getting rid of everybody.
Right. You can say what you want.
I'm just saying. Okay.
Yes. But they had the awards, NHL awards. Any thoughts on any of that?
Not really.
I was happy 3 Boston guys won.
Yeah, they should have. We're going by regular season. Heck yeah, they should have.
Yeah.
Good segment, Joe. Moving on.
Oh my. Yeah, Mark, my goalie, Montgomery, my head coach, and Bergeron, my Selke Trophy winner. So go Bruins. It was a great year. The best regular season in history. So, they deserve some awards. Yeah.
Good regular season, terrible playoffs.
They ran into Florida. They ran into a hot team. That was very sad. But then we can congratulate Keegan Bradley won the Travelers in Connecticut, the golf tournament, 80-1 if you happen to take him. So,
that was excellent.
Yeah, but I don't know anybody who did.
No, me neither.
So anyway, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
The 110th edition of the Tour de France starts Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Spanish Basque city of Bilbao. It's the second time it started in the Basque Lands. Goes to San Sebastian and then to the French Basque city of Bayonne. Cornelius, have you been to those wonderful cities? I know you've been close.
Yes, close, but I don't think those particular cities now.
Well, I know you've been to Pamplona.
Pamplona, yes. But those ones that you mentioned, no.
Did you ever make
I maybe went, past there on a bus, going to Salamanca or going somewhere else. But no.
You would have to make towards the ocean, the Atlantic
Yeah.
Ocean over there.
Yeah.
Didn't make it that far.
Oh, well,
Pretty south.
it's
south there.
I don't know. No, those cities not familiar at all.
Oh, too bad.
Pamplona, yes, but
Okay. Well, that was an amazing experience, I'm sure. But the Tour de France is not going through Pamplona, although it'll be fairly close.
right.
Well, Gator, it appears to be a two-man battle. Defending champion Jonas Vingegaard and two-time winner Tadej Pogacar. Do you want to pick one of those guys, or do you want to say somebody else is going to somehow win this?
Yeah, I see it as a three-way too.
Really?
For soccer guys, it's either Vingegaard or Pogacar
Uh-huh.
or the field.
Yeah, well, the next, those odds are like plus 110, plus 120. The next odds are like 20 to 1.
Right.
So this is a definite two-man race.
One's good on the hills, one's good on the flaps.
Well, you gotta be good in the mountains. Or you're not going to win.
Vingegaard,
Yeah.
he didn't he win a couple times?
He's won it twice.
So
But he got beat last year.
right.
Pogacar won it twice.
Twice.
Vingegaard beat him last year. Tough one, huh?
Yeah.
Well, whoever you pick, I'm going to pick the other guy. So
Okay,
we're gonna
I'll
win.
Take I'll take Jones.
okay, and I'll take Tadej. All right, cool.
Sounds good to me.
Zip, we got the winner, folks.
All right.
One of us has got the winner. Guaranteed. All right. So, I guess we should get to that part of the show that we talk about those bets that look like they were sure to be winners, or at least getting your money back. But or some other stories where it looked like you were going to win, looked great, but something went terribly wrong at the end, and it ended up being a loser. The segment we call "You Got Hosed."
You got hosed.
All right, Joe. Well, Friday, Oakland was at Toronto, and Oakland just lost 8 in a row. So it wasn't a shock to see that the Blue Jays were at a minus 320. Come on, Joe, 320.
Big minus.
Oakland in the top of the first scored 3 runs to start the game. And it was a little scary to start, but those who had, these are the A's, and if you had a Toronto ticket, you weren't worried too much because you knew they were going to come back and score, which they did. They got 4 runs to take the lead 4-3 in the third. So you feel a little bit better. You feel a little bit more relaxed. But the 5th comes and Oakland ties the game at 4 apiece with a sacrifice fly. But you're still okay because you still have 15 more outs to go, right, Joe?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, they didn't score anything, and
Right.
Oakland did score at the top of the 9th with the game tied, so they it wasn't quite a walk-off because they were at the top of the 9th.
Yeah.
But I would say, Joe, after seeing all that with minus 320, Oakland losing 8 in a row, if you had Toronto that day, you got hosed.
I think anytime you bet against the A's and lose, you got hosed, pretty much.
Well, they won 12-1 on Sunday, and they won 7-3 on Saturday.
Okay. Well, I'd like to preface my You Got Hosed story by saying last Sunday's, Birmingham, New Orleans USFL game, that was a blowout, in Birmingham. But that game Saturday, Pittsburgh and Michigan in Canton, that, as far as the coaching, time management, officiating, Mike Pereira, announcing, Jack Collinsworth, Jason Garrett, the play, it was very professional. I liked it. But if you bet on Michigan in the points, you got hosed. Michigan's getting 3 points. They're winning by 4 with less than 2 minutes left. They give up a touchdown. They go down by 3. Still, that's a push. You get your money back. Okay, be happy. No. Michigan goes down the field, kicks a field goal in the final seconds, sends the game to overtime, tied at 27. Now, USFL uses this weird overtime, 3 alternating 2-point conversions to decide the game. So the most you can lose by is 4 in overtime, right? And you're getting 3, you're looking good. So Pittsburgh scores a 2. Michigan fumbles on their first 2-pointer in the end zone, recovers, but only the fumbler can recover in order to score. So no points. Of course, Pittsburgh scores again. Michigan fails again. So Michigan loses 31-27. They lost 4-0 in overtime. If you took Michigan plus 3, you got hosed.
Those overtimes are killer.
Yes. And the championship game is Saturday. And Birmingham's -7 versus Pittsburgh, total 46. I'm not going to make a prediction on that, but watch the game. If it's as good as that game right there, it's going to be a heck of a game.
You got hosed.
That's it. Good show, guys. Big Rich, we'll see you next time in the studio. All right, everybody. Guess we're out. Thank you again for Shears and Gears. Catch them off of Winnie Lane.
We'll have to talk a little about this NFL next week and maybe how these guys are betting on football.
We'll get into that next week.
Absolutely.
We'll see you guys next week.
You've been listening to Covering the Field. Email us at coveringthefield@gmail.com for all your comments or questions. Find us on Twitter @CoveringField. And of course, always check out the website for our picks of the week and updated articles. coveringthefield.com.